Hi, I'm Ben from Coder, and today we're going to be doing a high-level introduction of Coder Workspaces, which is our flagship product for managing developer environments in the enterprise. Before we get into the product, though, I wanted to spend a little bit of time admiring the problem that Coder Workspaces solves. So in the enterprise, especially for regulated companies, the Fortune 500, and governments, managing developer environments is extremely hard. For starters, there's a number of different personas that we have to consider. So when we think of users of developer environments, we probably first will think of the software engineer. And the software engineer has a number of different requirements in their developer environment. After all, they probably have a monorepo or microservices architecture and a number of different dependencies that they need to manage. However, there are a whole bunch of other people inside of the enterprise that need developer environments as well. For example, data scientists. Data scientists work with Python notebooks, Jupyter, and a number of other large data sets and different dependencies. They also need to access a device. People are using laptops when they work from home. They're using desktops when they come into the office. They may be using something like VDI, which is great from a security perspective, but the developer experience isn't as fantastic. Or in a lot of cases where people have really complex setups and need a lot of control, people are setting up VMs, which are kind of on the opposite side of the spectrum of VDI. They're really flexible and you can do a lot with them, but they're really challenging to manage from an enterprise security and compliance perspective. So there's kind of a fragmentation of the different users that need environments. There's a fragmentation of different devices that you have to support. And from there, these different users need to get their tooling. And tooling could be anything from an editor that people are using. So this could be VS Code. It could be JetBrains' IntelliJ. It could be a Jupyter for Python notebooks. But beyond just the editors, there are also the programming languages. So it could be Python. Or it could be something like Docker for spinning up databases and additional services in your environment. So once people have their devices, they need to get the tooling set up, and then they need access to the network. And this would either be something on-prem or in the cloud. I'll draw a little cloud here. And within the network is stuff like GitHub for source code management, or Jira for managing IT tickets, JFrog for artifact management, some type of internal API or service or gateway, a database, maybe access to a GPU for training, and access to model storage as well. So as you can see, there are a number of different dependencies on the network that developers need access to as well. And all of this has to be vetted by the security team to essentially give something the go-ahead or the check mark. And this is a pain to manage. If you're a platform engineer kind of looking at this landscape from the outside, you'll realize pretty quickly that it's really difficult to know where to start. Do you centralize on the devices that people are using? Do you standardize the tools? How do you make the experience better? As a platform engineer, you're kind of looking at this and wondering, where do you start? And we've been talking a lot about AI recently, and I'd like to talk about how AI kind of makes this problem even more challenging. So whether it's the C-suite or a software engineer, we're seeing a significant increase in demand for AI tools. This could be something as simple as a coding assistant. So this would be something like GitHub Copilot. It could be something built into the editor, like Root Code, which is an extension. Or it could even be something a little bit more advanced. So there's Cursor, which is an AI-powered editor. There's Claude Code, which is a full autonomous agent, as well as SourceGraph AMP, which is another autonomous agent. A lot of these tools end up getting blocked by the security team because it's simply too risky to run these things on the network or the user's local device. If you're running it on the device, an agent may be able to read your emails or assume the identity of the user itself and take actions on that user's behalf. If it's running on the network, it's able to access things that it probably shouldn't, such as the full source code or additional things that maybe a developer should access, but an agent shouldn't. We're seeing there's kind of two unique threat models that are unique for AI. The first one is prompt injection. The idea here is an agent or an AI tool, maybe something like Claude Code, gets access to a prompt that it probably shouldn't have, either from the internet or another malicious source, and ends up doing something dangerous, again, on the network or on someone's device. And as a security team, it can be really challenging to secure agents to prevent them from prompt injection across this kind of fragmented mess of devices and tools. An additional one is MCP supply chain. And the concept here is MCP servers are extremely powerful. It gives AI tools access to things, such as JFrog or Bitbucket or an internal database. However, it's also extremely risky because you only want users accessing approved MCP servers and not doing anything that is extremely risky or downloading things from sites that they shouldn't. We're finding that a lot of these advanced AI tools are getting blocked by enterprise security teams for good reason. It's simply too dangerous to run these things on the network and on people's devices without proper controls and proper automation in place. So now we'll take a look at how Coder Workspaces solves this. So what we're looking at here is a much more simplified and standardized architecture. The first thing we'll notice is that we actually haven't changed the users, devices, and tools that users are using. In fact, everything's still here. What has changed, however, is the actual dependencies and source code have moved off of devices into Coder, which is managed on your own infrastructure. So Coder Workspaces is entirely self-hosted, meaning you can run it on a public cloud, such as AWS, Azure, or GCP, or you could also run it air-gapped on something like an on-prem data center with Kubernetes. Going into Coder, we'll see that there are Terraform-based templates. Each template is essentially a blueprint for Workspaces, defining all of the tools and dependencies the developer needs. So this is a very basic example of a template with Python and Docker in it, and developers can still connect from any device and any IDE. In fact, I've added the browser here showing that you can even connect to a Coder Workspace through the web browser. So you could use something like a Chromebook or an iPad. Now, this has a lot of different benefits, both for the developer and for the enterprise at large. For the developer, they no longer have to spend months waiting for different tickets and approvals to get set up in an environment. For the enterprise at large, the platform team can kind of create pre-vetted, pre-secured images and templates that people can hop into immediately. There's a significant number of advantages to rolling out AI tooling as well. For starters, a platform engineer can create or modify a template with AI tooling pre-configured. So here we'll make a template. Well, out of the template, a developer can create a workspace. And this can include AI tooling such as something like GitHub Copilot, or an extension for VS Code like root code. And this has a lot of benefits because a developer can essentially click a single button and get an environment pre-configured with AI that's already been pre-vetted by the security team. Another advantage, more on the security side, is these tools are no longer running on people's devices, meaning it can't assume the developer's identity, it can't check the developer's email or do something that the developer would be able to do that's outside of coding. And it also allows you to kind of centrally manage things that the AI agent's able to do. What we're finding, however, is that as organizations want to adopt more complex AI tools, maybe something like Cursor, Claude Code, or Sourcegraph's AMP, that there's a number of additional security requirements at hand. So let's create a workspace. We'll call this workspace 4. And let's add some of these more kind of complicated AI tools in. So we'll add Cursor. We'll add Claude Code. And we'll add Sourcegraph AMP. Now, these AI systems are kind of designed to run unsupervised for long periods of time. Now, these agents are incredibly powerful, meaning they can do things like write code on behalf of the developer, run tests, execute commands in a workspace. And while this is really powerful, a lot of organizations want better visibility and control on what these agents can actually do so they don't do something risky. This week, we're launching a new product called Coder AI Bridge, which is actually built into Workspaces. And what AI Bridge does is it'll essentially be a gateway for all AI requests through your network into a model or a model provider. So we'll put the models over here. And the models could be anything from Anthropic's Claude, OpenAI, Amazon Bedrock. What AI Bridge does is essentially all traffic from one of these AI agents has to go through AI Bridge as a gateway so that AI Bridge can do a number of different things. The first thing AI Bridge does is authentication. Because of this, developers don't actually have to manage API tokens and signing into one of these providers. AI Bridge will handle that all for you based on the user's coder identity. The second thing it does is observability. With observability, organizations can monitor what's actually happening and what developers are using. In case of a security incident, a security auditor can go in and figure out what happened. It also helps from an analytics perspective. A lot of these AI tools are extremely expensive, and leaders want to know how much this is costing us and what developers are actually doing with it and who the power users are and what's the ROI of adding additional tooling into Coder. The final thing that AI Bridge helps with is MCP management. And this will allow an organization to centrally configure which MCP servers developers can use, both pre-configuring and pre-authenticating MCP on behalf of the developer so they don't have to do it themselves, while also allowing people to set policies preventing what MCP servers can't be used. With MCP management, platform teams can centrally configure which MCP servers developers are using, making it easy for a developer to get into an environment without having to fiddle around with configuration, authentication, and running these MCP servers locally. AI Bridge is this nice kind of gateway layer, ensuring that all traffic that happens to an AI agent goes through Bridge, ensuring that organizations can see visibility with observability, authentication, and MCP management. The final thing we want to solve is prompt injection. And the concept of prompt injection is an agent getting access to a malicious prompt, perhaps from the internet, and kind of that tricking the agent into doing something it shouldn't, such as accessing your network, uploading a token, and compromising the security of your organization. So we partially solved this by taking agents off of devices and moving it into a centralized workspace. But in a lot of cases, agents can still access the internet. So an agent could do some research, read something in Stack Overflow to get additional details on how to solve an issue, and then get prompt injected. And that's something we want to prevent. The final product we're announcing, also built into Coda Workspaces, is called Agent Boundaries. And what Boundaries does is pretty simple. It creates a firewall around each agent, basically ensuring that the agents don't have access to the internet. Users will still be able to access the internet to do research and clone repos and things like that. But you can ensure that the agent can only access trusted sources, therefore being immune to prompt injection. Coda provides enterprises a standard way to run developer environments. Whether it's for a software engineer, an AI agent, a contractor, or a data scientist, a user can quickly provision a workspace based on a Terraform template. And if there's AI tooling involved, the AI traffic is all monitored through Coda Bridge and secured through Coda Boundaries. Thanks for watching this whiteboard demonstration. And now back to the live stream.